Hello, my name is Jess, and I am the International Initiative Student Assistant for this summer of 2021. My pronouns are she and they, and I will be taking you through the Housing and Accommodations in North Bay presentation put together by the International Initiatives Department. So firstly, we will be going through just a sort of Housing Accommodations 101. This will go over what kind of housing is available to you as a student in North Bay, as well as going over some terms that you might come in contact with when looking for housing in the Canadian markets. Many students like to live on campus during their time at university, and this is typically called living in residence. Here at Nipissing, we offer suite-style accommodations, which is very similar to apartment living. So in this case, each suite has 4 private bedrooms, 2 shared bathrooms, a full kitchen, as well as a living space and a small dining room. Students can choose to live in an all-gender or same-gender suite, and that choice can be made when applying for residence. In residence, students have access to a private room, shared bathroom, a kitchen, as well as laundry facilities, free Wi-Fi, and access to personal supports such as residence dons or other residence life staff, social events, study spaces, and maintenance support. As well, you'll also have the opportunity to live off campus. So living off campus generally has a cheaper rent price. However, students will be responsible for furniture unless the room already comes furnished, electricity, heating, internet connection, laundry facilities. They're not always available off campus. Sometimes you'll have to visit a third-party laundromat to have your laundry done. As well, many students find that living off campus is more freeing and that they have more privacy. But for international students, living off campus may feel like you are integrating more with the community and with the Canadian culture around you. Next, we have some Canadian housing terms that you may come in contact with when looking for housing in North Bay. So firstly, we have a bachelor apartment, which is an apartment with one large room that acts as your bedroom and living room. It also includes a kitchen and bathroom. Next, there is a duplex, which is a building that includes 2 living spaces or apartments. A single detached is a building that includes 1 living space, sometimes on 2 or 3 stories. If it is 1 story, that is called a bungalow. Private room is a person's room in their house. Renting a private room gives you access to a shared kitchen, bathroom, and some other parts of the home. This is an affordable and most common way to rent for university students. Oftentimes, multiple university students will rent a house together and will each have their own private rooms. Next, there's a den, which is a small room with or without a door. Many apartments have 1 bedroom and a den, which can be used as a storage or office space. Then we have an ensuite, which is a bathroom that is directly connected to a bedroom. We have a powder room, which is a small bathroom with only a toilet and sink, but no shower or bathtub. A full bathroom will always include either a shower or a bathtub. AC stands for air conditioning. Many parts of Canada are hot in the summer, but not all apartments have AC. So that is definitely something to look out for if that is important to you and your living conditions. Furnished means that the space being rented will include furniture like a couch, table, bed, etc. But unfurnished means that the space will usually include a stove and fridge, possibly other appliances. However, you'll be responsible for your own furniture. So be sure to ask what the place includes and make sure that you are familiar with what kind of furniture you'll need to provide. For international students that are just arriving and probably won't have access to getting furniture, it might be beneficial to get a furnished apartment. Then there's the tenant, which is you, the person who will be looking for and renting the house or apartment. And then there's the landlord, which is the person who owns the apartment or house and rents it out to a tenant. That is the person that you'll be communicating with and paying your rent to. Then we have utilities, which refers to electricity, which is often called hydro in Canada, water, heat, and AC, which, like I said, it stands for air conditioning. Sometimes utilities are included with the rent, but sometimes the tenant is responsible for paying for it. So be sure to ask the landlord who is responsible for paying what, just so you're making sure when you're looking for the utilities. Finally, a lease, which is the contract between you and your landlord that sets out the rent and how long you will live in the apartment or house. This is something that you'll be signing, and that will be your agreement to renting the space. Next, we have a sublet, which, if your lease has not expired and you want to leave the apartment or house, you can reach a new agreement with someone to assume the lease until it expires. So they will be subletting the apartment from you. So be sure to ask your landlord for permission to sublet, because that is not always allowed in some cases. Next, we'll be talking about looking for housing and what to consider when you are looking. So first, when you'll be looking to sign a lease, when renting an apartment on or off campus, you should expect to sign a lease. 9 or 10 months are usually common in university and college towns like North Bay. You'll often have to pay first and last month's rent immediately. Last month's rent is legal. This just protects the landlord in case you need to leave suddenly for any reason. You'll also have to pay a damage deposit for a landlord, likely. Damage deposits are money that you'll pay to the landlord before moving into the house or apartment. It may be as much as 1 month's rent or as much as the landlord decides to charge. If you cause any damage in the unit during your lease, this deposit is meant to pay for the repairs. Unless it is more than that, then you will be charged the difference of that. And if there's no damage done during your lease, the landlord is meant to return the deposit at the end of your lease. Some more things to consider is costs for private housing. Private housing is not controlled or inspected in any way by your college or university. So price and quality may vary, so be sure to schedule an appointment to view the house before you sign a lease. International students may want to schedule a virtual tour if you are not in the country yet. But generally, you would probably expect to pay from around $400 to $500 Canadian to rent a room. Renting an apartment to live in alone typically costs more, sometimes around $900 to $1,200 Canadian, and living in a shared space is often cheaper. How to find private housing. So there's many different ways to find private housing in North Bay. Off-campus living is a resource specifically for Nipissing students to find private housing in North Bay. Kijiji is a website similar to eBay where people sell used items, and is another very good place to look for rooms and apartments for rent. Facebook Marketplace is another helpful place to find rentals, and you will often find private groups on Facebook that are dedicated to people posting places that are available. So just a tip when looking on external websites for housing, if a place is posted on multiple different websites, that often indicates that this posting is a legitimate post and is safe to pursue. Next, we have a little bit more in depth about off-campus living. This is a virtual office that assists students in finding reliable private housing listings within North Bay. And so you can access their website through this presentation, and it can be reached by calling their phone number or emailing offcampusliving@nipissingu.ca. Places for Students is another website affiliated with Nipissing and NUSU that offers assistance for looking for private housing in North Bay. Next is dealing with your landlord. So this will just go over some expectations for dealing with landlords, as well as if you've run into any troubles with your landlord. So as a tenant, you are responsible for paying your rent on time, keeping your rental clean, avoiding damaging the unit and paying for repairs of any damage, contacting your landlord whenever serious issues or repairs come up, and allowing your landlord to access the space with notice. Your landlord is also responsible for maintaining the unit and keeping it in a good state of repair, providing utility services such as heat, electricity, etc., agreed to in the lease, and not seizing your property without initiating or following a proper legal process. So they cannot make you leave your space unless they are following a proper legal process. So most landlords expect rent to be paid by check and may ask for enough checks to cover the full rental period of your lease. These are called post-dated checks, and they typically do not accept credit card payments. Typically, landlords might ask different rules and conditions to the lease, such as not allowing smoking in your apartment or your balcony. So be sure to ask your landlord for a copy of your lease and make sure that you read it carefully before you sign it. In an emergency, your landlord may enter your space without asking permission. However, in any other case, your landlord is not permitted to enter your space without a reason and providing advance notice. So if they do enter your space, that is not legal. So if the landlord needs you to vacate the unit, they are legally required to provide 60 days notice. So they cannot make you vacate the space with any time less than that. Finally, if you are having trouble with your landlord, you may want to seek legal assistance. Off-campus living has a page with resources for students who are seeking legal advice. It also provides some information helpful to students regarding their rights as a tenant and general advice. So you can access this page during this presentation. We, of course, cannot provide any legitimate legal advice, but we can direct you to places that will be able to help you. So that is all we have for this presentation. Hopefully the visual of me presenting along with the PowerPoint itself, it will help you understand what to look out for when looking for accommodations in North Bay. However, if you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us via email at myinternational@nipsingu.ca. We hope you all have a successful time looking for housing and accommodation in North Bay, and we wish all international students a safe travel to North Bay to attend Nipissing University. So, bye for now. Stay safe.